Florida, known for its sun-soaked beaches and bustling theme parks. But hidden beneath the surface of this tropical paradise lies a world of secrets, forgotten ruins, ancient civilizations, and unsolved enigmas that defy explanation. Who were the original people that walked this land long before the conquistadors? What secrets do the Coral Castle, the Miami Circle, and the Mounds of Crystal River still hold? Join us as we journey deep into the shadows of history to uncover the ancient mysteries in Florida and discover that the past is far stranger than fiction. The Crystal River Mounds, unraveling the mysteries of Florida's ancient burial complex. The Crystal River Mounds, located in Citrus County, Florida, represent one of the most significant prehistoric archaeological sites in the southeastern United States. Dating back over 2,000 years, this large complex of Native American burial mounds offers a window into the lives, beliefs, and social structures of the indigenous peoples who inhabited the region long before European contact. Despite extensive study, many aspects of the mound's purpose, construction, and cultural significance remain enigmatic, continuing to puzzle archaeologists and historians alike. The Crystal River Mounds complex is composed of at least 9 large burial mounds, built over a vast area near the Crystal River estuary. These mounds were constructed primarily from sand, shell, and earth, forming elevated platforms and burial sites. Their impressive size and careful placement indicate that the builders possessed advanced knowledge of engineering and social organization. The complex likely functioned as a ceremonial center, serving as a focal point for religious, social, and political activities among the prehistoric inhabitants. Archaeological excavations at Crystal River have revealed a wealth of artifacts, including pottery, stone tools, and ornamental objects made from exotic materials such as copper and mica. These findings suggest that the site was part of a wide trade network that extended far beyond Florida, connecting with other cultures across the southeastern and midwestern United States. The presence of copper, in particular, points to contact with societies from the Great Lakes region, highlighting the extensive reach and influence of the Crystal River community. Central to the significance of the Crystal River Mounds is their role as burial sites. Human remains uncovered in the mounds indicate complex mortuary practices, with some individuals interred with elaborate grave goods, possibly signifying social status or religious importance. The mounds may have been constructed as sacred places to honor ancestors, leaders, or spiritual figures, reflecting a belief system that connected the living community with the spiritual world. Despite the wealth of archaeological data, many questions about the Crystal River Mounds remain unanswered. The precise religious or ceremonial functions of the complex are still subject to interpretation. Some scholars theorize that the site was a pilgrimage center, attracting people from surrounding areas for important rituals. Others suggest that the mounds served as territorial markers or symbols of political power. The full extent of the site may also be larger than currently documented, with potential undiscovered features hidden by time and environmental changes. Environmental factors have played a role in both preserving and obscuring the Crystal River Mounds. Rising sea levels, coastal erosion, and modern development threaten the site's integrity, emphasizing the need for ongoing conservation efforts. Protecting the mounds is crucial, not only for archaeological research, but also for respecting the heritage of descendant Native American communities who maintain cultural and spiritual ties to the area. The Crystal River Mounds are also important for understanding the broader context of prehistoric Native American life in Florida. The complex challenges earlier simplistic views of indigenous societies as small and isolated, revealing instead a sophisticated culture with social hierarchies, long-distance trade, and elaborate religious practices. It serves as a powerful reminder of the depth and richness of Florida's ancient past. In conclusion, the Crystal River Mounds stand as a monumental testament to the ingenuity, spirituality, and complexity of prehistoric Native American peoples in Florida. Though many mysteries about their purpose and full extent remain, Ongoing archaeological investigations continue to shed light on this remarkable site. Preserving and studying the Crystal River Mounds not only enriches our understanding of ancient history, but also honors the enduring legacy of the indigenous cultures that shaped the land thousands of years ago. The Miami Circle, uncovering the enigma of an ancient Tequesta site. Nestled near the mouth of the Miami River in downtown Miami lies one of Florida's most remarkable and mysterious archaeological discoveries. The Miami Circle. This perfect circular formation of holes cut into the bedrock limestone has intrigued archaeologists and historians since its discovery in the late 20th century. Believed to have been created by the ancient Tequesta tribe approximately 2,000 years ago, the Miami Circle is a rare and invaluable window into the region's prehistoric past. Despite extensive study, the precise purpose and significance of the circle remain uncertain, inviting ongoing research and speculation. The Miami Circle was uncovered in 1998 during construction activities near the Miami River. Workers stumbled upon a series of carefully crafted holes and basins arranged in a near-perfect circle, approximately 38 feet in diameter. The formation consists of roughly 24 interconnected holes and basins carved directly into the limestone bedrock, a remarkable feat of ancient engineering. The circle's unique and deliberate design sets it apart from typical Native American archaeological sites, making it an exceptional find. Archaeologists attribute the circle to the Tequesta people, a Native American tribe known to have inhabited the Miami area from around 500 BCE. Until the arrival of European explorers in the 16th century, the Tequesta were coastal hunter-gatherers who relied heavily on fishing and shellfish harvesting. The Miami Circle represents the only known prehistoric structure of its kind in the region, indicating the tribe's sophisticated knowledge of stoneworking and symbolic expression. The exact function of the Miami Circle remains a subject of debate. Several hypotheses have been proposed to explain its purpose. One theory suggests that the circle served as the foundation for a large communal structure or dwelling, possibly a council house or temple, used for ceremonies and social gatherings. The holes could have anchored wooden posts supporting a roof or platform. Another theory posits that the site held spiritual or ritual significance, serving as a ceremonial center where the Tequesta performed religious rites, observed celestial events, or communicated with ancestral spirits. The precision and scale of the Miami Circle imply it was an important place within the Tequesta community. Its location near the Miami River, a vital waterway, suggests strategic importance, perhaps as a hub for trade, social interaction, or spiritual activity. Additionally, the circle's discovery beneath modern urban development underscores the continuity of human presence in the Miami area, linking past and present in a tangible way. Despite the intrigue, many aspects of the Miami Circle remain elusive. Unlike mound sites or settlements with extensive artifact assemblages, the circle itself offers limited material evidence, making interpretation challenging. The lack of written records from the Tequesta culture adds to the mystery, leaving scholars reliant on archaeological inference and comparison with other indigenous sites. The Miami Circle also raises broader questions about the prehistoric peoples of South Florida. It challenges stereotypes that ancient Floridian tribes were simple or nomadic, revealing instead a culture capable of complex construction and symbolic thought. The Circle's discovery has inspired greater appreciation for the depth of Native American history in the region and the importance of preserving archaeological sites amid urban expansion. Since its discovery, the Miami Circle has been protected as a historic landmark, with a dedicated park established to allow public access and education. Preservation efforts ensure that this fragile site remains intact for future generations to study and appreciate. In conclusion, the Miami Circle is a unique and enigmatic relic of the ancient Tequesta tribe, embodying both the ingenuity and mystery of Florida's indigenous past. While its precise purpose remains unknown, the circle's existence offers a profound connection to the region's earliest inhabitants and their cultural achievements. As ongoing research continues to explore its secrets, The Miami Circle stands as a powerful symbol of the enduring legacy of Native American heritage in Miami and beyond. The mystery of the Florida Keys underwater cities, lost civilizations beneath the waves. Beneath the clear turquoise waters off the coast of the Florida Keys lie enigmatic submerged stone structures that have long fascinated archaeologists, divers, and historians alike. These underwater formations, often referred to as the Florida Keys underwater cities, suggest the tantalizing possibility of ancient man-made cities or ceremonial sites now lost to rising sea levels and the shifting ocean. Despite ongoing research, the origins, purpose, and builders of these underwater structures remain shrouded in mystery, making them one of Florida's most intriguing ancient puzzles. The underwater structures were first noted during explorations and sonar mapping of the seafloor near the Florida Keys, a region known for its complex coral reefs and rich marine biodiversity. Divers reported encountering massive stone blocks, walls, and geometric arrangements resting on the ocean floor, features that differ significantly from natural coral formations. Some structures appear to form platforms, roads, or building foundations, indicating deliberate construction rather than random geological occurrences. Dating these submerged formations has proved challenging, but researchers theorize that they may be remnants of ancient coastal settlements that existed during a time when sea levels were significantly lower, possibly around 7,000 to 10,000 years ago, during the late Pleistocene or early Holocene epochs. During this period, much of what is now the shallow continental shelf would have been dry land, providing habitable space for prehistoric peoples. Rising seas over millennia gradually submerged these areas, engulfing any settlements or ceremonial centers that once thrived there. The nature and purpose of the underwater structures remain debated. Some experts propose they were parts of large ceremonial complexes used by ancient coastal cultures for religious rites, astronomical observations, or social gatherings. Others speculate that these sites were practical settlements or trading hubs strategically located along migration and trade routes. The scale and complexity of the structures imply an advanced knowledge of engineering and a sophisticated social organization. Skeptics caution that some of the formations might be natural limestone features shaped by ocean currents, erosion, or coral growth. The challenge lies in distinguishing man-made artifacts from natural geological phenomena, especially given the difficulty of underwater archaeology and limited access to the sites. However, some excavations and underwater surveys have uncovered artifacts such as tools, pottery shards, and charcoal deposits near the structures, lending credence to human involvement. The possibility of lost underwater cities off the Florida Keys resonates with legends and folklore of sunken civilizations around the world. It also aligns with evidence of early human migration and settlement patterns along now submerged coastal areas. These discoveries highlight the profound impact of environmental changes on human history and the ways rising seas have erased traces of ancient cultures. Beyond their archaeological significance, the underwater cities spark imagination and wonder, inspiring further exploration and research. The ongoing investigation requires multidisciplinary approaches, combining marine geology, archaeology, and advanced technologies like sonar imaging and remote-operated vehicles. In conclusion, the mystery of the Florida Keys underwater cities remains an open and captivating chapter in the study of ancient human civilizations. Whether these stone structures are remnants of sophisticated man-made cities or natural formations, they underscore the dynamic relationship between humans and their changing environment. As research advances, the hope remains that these submerged sites will reveal new insights into Florida's prehistoric peoples and their enduring legacies beneath the waves. The Orange County Rock Mounds, an enigmatic legacy of ancient Florida. Throughout Orange County, Florida, scattered across forests, fields, and wetlands, lie hundreds of mysterious stone piles known as the Orange County Rock Mounds. These ancient rock accumulations, whose origins and purposes remain uncertain, have intrigued archaeologists and historians for decades. Despite ongoing research, the function of these mounds, whether for burial, ceremonial use, astronomical observation, or other purposes, continues to be debated. The Orange County rock mounds represent a compelling chapter in Florida's prehistoric past and offer insight into the complex societies that once inhabited the region. The rock mounds were first documented in the late 19th and early 20th centuries as curious piles of stones found throughout Orange County. Unlike the large earthen mounds familiar in other parts of Florida, these are smaller and composed mainly of local limestone or quartzite. They are not randomly placed. Rather, clusters appear near water sources, elevated land, and ancient pathways, indicating intentional construction. The fact that they occur in specific locations suggests a cultural or functional significance rather than being natural formations. Archaeological investigations of the mounds reveal a range of sizes, from small piles of just a few stones to larger accumulations spanning several meters. Although some excavations have been conducted, material findings have been sparse. Occasionally, pottery shards, tools, or charcoal remnants have been discovered near the mounds, suggesting human activity in the vicinity. However, no consistent evidence, such as human remains, has been uncovered to firmly establish their use as burial sites. This lack of conclusive material evidence presents a major challenge in interpreting the true purpose of these rock piles. Several theories attempt to explain the role the Orange County rock mounds played in ancient society. One possibility is that they functioned as burial markers, commemorating the dead or serving as grave sites. This theory aligns with practices seen in many cultures worldwide where stone piles mark graves or memorials. Yet, without discovery of human remains, this interpretation remains speculative. Another prominent hypothesis is that the mounds had ceremonial or ritualistic significance. Their strategic placement and arrangement could imply that they were altars, offering sites or focal points for religious ceremonies, linking the living with their ancestors or deities. Supporting this idea is the presence of mounds near water and elevated areas, locations often associated with spiritual importance in many indigenous cultures. A third theory considers the mounds as possible astronomical observatories. Some researchers suggest the piles might be aligned with solar, lunar, or stellar events, serving as primitive calendars to track seasons or guide agricultural and ritual activities. Such use of stone markers for astronomical observations is known in other ancient cultures, although definitive evidence for this in Orange County remains elusive. Other interpretations propose that the mounds served more practical or social functions, such as territorial markers or navigation aids along ancient trails and waterways. The rock piles may have delineated boundaries or served as waypoints for early inhabitants traversing the landscape. Conversely, skeptics argued that the mounds could be byproducts of land clearing for agriculture or settlement, piles of stones gathered and stacked while preparing fields. This practical explanation cautions against overinterpreting the mounds without stronger archaeological evidence. The cultural context of the Orange County rock mounds likely involves the Native American peoples who inhabited the region for thousands of years before European contact. These groups had diverse traditions and complex social structures that may have included the use of stone piles for various purposes. Understanding the mounds requires situating them within the broader framework of Florida's prehistoric societies, such as the mound-building St. John's and Safety Harbor cultures, known for their elaborate ceremonial earthworks. Interpreting the mounds is complicated by the limited number of datable artifacts and disturbances from urban development, agriculture, and natural erosion. Many rock piles have been damaged or destroyed, hindering comprehensive study. Moreover, the irregular shapes and sizes of the mounds suggest they may have served multiple functions or changed use over time. Despite these challenges, efforts continue to protect and study the remaining mounds. Some sites are preserved within public parks and nature reserves, providing valuable opportunities for research and public education. Local Native American groups and historians emphasize the importance of these sites, as connections to the ancient heritage of Florida's indigenous peoples. In conclusion, the Orange County rock mounds remain a captivating archaeological mystery. Whether they were burial markers, ceremonial sites, astronomical tools, or territorial indicators, the stone piles symbolize the ingenuity and spirituality of Florida's early inhabitants. Protecting and investigating these mounds is crucial to preserving the cultural legacy they represent. As new archaeological techniques develop, there is hope that further discoveries will shed light on the origins and meanings of these ancient stone monuments, deepening our understanding of Florida's prehistoric past. The Fountain of Youth legend, myth and mystery in St. Augustine, Florida. The legend of the Fountain of Youth remains one of the most enduring and captivating stories associated with Florida's early history. This tale, tied closely to the Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon, tells of a magical spring whose waters could restore youth and grant eternal life. While popular culture often portrays Ponce de Leon as actively searching for this mythical fountain, the historical accuracy of this claim is uncertain. The legend's connection to St. Augustine, Florida's oldest European established city, blends myth, history, and tourism, creating a cultural narrative that has lasted for centuries. The origin of the Fountain of Youth story does not appear in contemporary accounts of Ponce de Leon's 1513 expedition to Florida. Early records focus primarily on his exploration of new lands and efforts to claim territories for Spain, without any mention of a quest for rejuvenating waters. It was only decades later that chroniclers and storytellers introduced the idea that Ponce de Leon sought a magical spring, possibly as a way to romanticize and dramatize his voyages. St. Augustine, founded in 1565, embraces the Fountain of Youth legend as part of its identity. Near the city is the Fountain of Youth Archaeological Park, which claims to preserve the site of the mythical spring. This park attracts numerous visitors annually, who come to see natural springs, reconstructed native villages, and exhibits celebrating the legend. Regardless of the spring's mythical properties, the park has become a significant cultural landmark, symbolizing the intersection of myth, history, and tourism in Florida. Modern historians and archaeologists generally view the story of Ponce de Leon's search for the Fountain of Youth with skepticism. Documents from his time indicate his goals were more pragmatic, exploring new territories, seeking wealth, and securing strategic advantages for Spain. Archaeological evidence around St. Augustine reveals details about early colonial and indigenous life, but offers no support for the existence of a magical spring. The legend is more likely a piece of folklore, perhaps influenced by indigenous myths or European tales of enchanted waters. The cultural impact of the Fountain of Youth legend is profound. It taps into universal human desires for youth and immortality, and its enduring popularity demonstrates how myths can evolve by blending fact and fiction. In Florida, especially in St. Augustine, the legend enhances regional identity and supports a vibrant tourism industry. Festivals, literature, and local lore all celebrate the tale, ensuring that it remains an integral part of the state's heritage. In conclusion, the Fountain of Youth legend represents a fascinating mixture of myth and history. While Ponce de Leon's association with the search for eternal youth is likely exaggerated, the story endures because it resonates with timeless human hopes and the spirit of exploration. St. Augustine's adoption of the legend highlights how myths shape cultural identity and invite ongoing curiosity about the past. Though the truth behind the Fountain of Youth may remain elusive, its mystery continues to captivate imaginations and enrich Florida's historical narrative. The Timucua people and lost languages. Unraveling Florida's forgotten heritage. The history of Florida is deeply intertwined with the stories of its indigenous peoples, among whom the Timucua hold a significant yet enigmatic place. Once one of the largest Native American groups in northeastern and central Florida, the Timucua people possessed a rich cultural heritage and a unique language that, unfortunately, have largely vanished from history. The limited records that remain present a challenging puzzle for historians, linguists, and archaeologists, leaving considerable gaps in our understanding of the Timucua's social structures, beliefs, and contributions. The story of the Timucua is not only one of cultural loss, but also a testament to the resilience and complexity of Florida's original inhabitants. The Timucua inhabited a vast area stretching from the St. Johns River region through much of north and central Florida and parts of southern Georgia. When European explorers, especially the Spanish, arrived in the 16th century, the Timucua were encountered as a diverse group of communities speaking a related language but exhibiting varied customs and lifestyles. They were skilled farmers, fishermen, and artisans, living in organized villages and practicing intricate rituals. Despite their significance, the Timucua were not a single unified tribe, but rather a linguistic and cultural group with multiple chiefdoms. Central to the Timucua identity was their language, also called Timucua, which is now extinct. The language was first recorded in the 17th century by Spanish missionaries who sought to convert the Timucua to Christianity. These missionaries produced several documents, including catechisms, prayers, and religious texts translated into Timucua, creating some of the few surviving records of the language. While these documents provide valuable linguistic insights, they are limited and do not capture the full richness or variations of the Timucua tongue. The loss of the Timucua language, and many cultural details, is largely a consequence of colonization, disease, and assimilation. The introduction of European diseases devastated indigenous populations, including the Timucua, who lacked immunity to illnesses such as smallpox and measles. Over time, their numbers dwindled dramatically. Additionally, Spanish colonial policies and missionary efforts disrupted traditional social systems and cultural practices. Intermarriage, forced relocation, and pressure to adopt European customs further contributed to the erosion of Timucua cultural identity. Due to these factors, the Timucua culture faded from history by the 18th century. Their language ceased to be spoken, and many aspects of their way of life were lost or absorbed into other cultures. This disappearance has left historians with significant gaps in the knowledge of Florida's indigenous past. Unlike some Native American languages and traditions preserved through oral history or continued community practice, the Timucua have no surviving native speakers or direct cultural descendants who maintain their heritage. Despite these challenges, modern scholars strive to piece together the Timucua story from the surviving fragments. Archaeological excavations of Timucua village sites have revealed pottery, tools, and settlement patterns that offer clues to their daily lives. Linguists analyze missionary texts to reconstruct aspects of the Timucua language, helping to understand its structure and relationship to other indigenous languages of the Southeast. Collaborative efforts with descendant communities of other indigenous groups in Florida also aim to honor and remember the Timucua legacy. The story of the Timucua underscores the broader issues of cultural loss and recovery that many indigenous peoples face. It highlights the importance of preserving languages and traditions as vital components of human heritage. While the Timucua language may no longer be spoken, the efforts to study and commemorate their history ensure that they are not forgotten. In conclusion, the Timucua people and their lost language represent a poignant chapter in Florida's history. The extinction of their language and many cultural traditions reflects the profound impacts of colonization and cultural disruption. Yet, through careful scholarship and remembrance, the legacy of the Timucua continues to inform our understanding of Florida's indigenous past, reminding us of the richness that once flourished and the importance of preserving cultural diversity for future generations. The Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp, Florida's psychic capital and its mysteries. Nestled in Volusia County, Florida, lies the small town of Cassadaga, widely known as the psychic capital of the world. Founded in the late 19th century, Cassadaga is a unique spiritual community that has long attracted those fascinated by paranormal phenomena, mediumship, and metaphysical exploration. With deep roots that intertwine Native American heritage and the rise of the spiritualist movement, Cassadaga represents both a living spiritual tradition and a mystery that continues to captivate visitors and residents alike. The origins of Cassadaga trace back to the late 1800s when George P. Colby, a prominent medium and spiritualist, founded the community as a haven for those seeking to develop psychic abilities and communicate with the spirit world. The town's name, meaning water beneath the rocks, was inspired by a Seneca Indian phrase, reflecting the influence and respect for Native American culture in the area. This melding of indigenous spirituality with the spiritualist movement created a unique cultural atmosphere centered on healing, psychic readings, and spiritual growth. Cassadaga quickly became a hub for mediums, healers, and seekers from across the United States and beyond. The community established institutions such as the Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp Association, which governs the area and organizes workshops, lectures, and seances. Mediums here claim to communicate with spirits, offering messages from the beyond, spiritual guidance, and healing services. The town's architecture, with quaint cottages, historic buildings, and a tranquil lakeside setting, adds to its mystical ambiance. One of the most intriguing aspects of Cassadaga is its reputation for paranormal activity. Visitors and residents often report experiences such as ghost sightings, unexplained sounds, and feelings of spiritual presence. While skeptics attribute these phenomena to suggestion or natural causes, believers see them as evidence of the community's strong spiritual energies. These mysterious occurrences contribute to the town's allure and the sense that Cassadaga is a place where the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is especially thin. The spiritual practices in Cassadaga draw from a complex blend of traditions. The influence of Native American spirituality is evident not only in the town's name, but also in its emphasis on harmony with nature, respect for ancestors, and use of rituals. Meanwhile, the spiritualist movement, which emerged in the mid-19th century, emphasizes communication with spirits through mediums, reincarnation, and the idea that consciousness survives physical death. This synthesis creates a rich tapestry of beliefs and practices unique to Cassadaga. Over the decades, Cassadaga has attracted both devout spiritualists and curious tourists, fueling a local economy centered on psychic readings, spiritual counseling, and metaphysical retail. The town hosts annual events such as psychic fairs and spiritual retreats, further cementing its reputation as a center for paranormal exploration. Despite its popularity, Cassadaga remains a small and close-knit community dedicated to preserving its spiritual heritage. The residents emphasize education, ethical mediumship, and the healing potential of spiritual connection. For many, Cassadaga is not just a tourist destination, but a place of genuine spiritual awakening and transformation. In conclusion, the Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp stands as a fascinating blend of history, spirituality, and mystery. Founded with Native American influence and nurtured by the spiritualist movement, it remains a beacon for those seeking connection beyond the physical realm. Whether viewed as a paranormal hotspot or a sincere spiritual community, Cassadaga continues to inspire curiosity and reverence, making it one of Florida's most intriguing ancient mysteries tied to human belief and the unknown. The Shell Mounds of Amelia Island, unveiling Florida's prehistoric legacy. Along the coastline of Amelia Island in northeastern Florida lie striking reminders of prehistoric Native American life, large, ancient shell mounds. These shell mounds, also known as middens, are substantial piles of oyster, clam, and other shellfish remains mixed with artifacts and soil, created over centuries by indigenous peoples. Although extensively studied, their precise purpose and the techniques used in their construction remain partially mysterious. offering a fascinating glimpse into Florida's ancient past and the complex relationship early inhabitants had with their environment. The shell mounds on Amelia Island are part of a broader tradition seen throughout coastal Florida and the southeastern United States. These mounds were formed primarily from the discarded shells of shellfish consumed by Native Americans, accumulated over generations. The sheer size of some mounds, rising several meters above the surrounding landscape, demonstrates the scale of human activity and suggests that these sites were not merely refuse piles, but held greater significance. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence that these shell mounds served multiple roles. At a basic level, they were the byproduct of daily life, as shellfish formed a vital part of the diet for coastal communities. However, their size and strategic placement near waterways and elevated ground imply additional functions beyond mere waste disposal. Some researchers propose that the mounds were used for ceremonial purposes, as burial sites, or as markers of territorial boundaries. One intriguing aspect of the Amelia Island mounds is the mystery surrounding their construction techniques. It remains unclear how these large accumulations were managed, and whether the mounds were intentionally shaped or modified to serve specific purposes. The layering of shells, interspersed with other materials, suggests careful planning, possibly reflecting social organization and ritual practices. The shell mounds also provide valuable archaeological insights into the lives of the prehistoric peoples of the region. Alongside shells, artifacts such as stone tools, pottery shards, and animal bones have been found, painting a picture of a community skilled in fishing, hunting, and crafting. These finds help researchers understand the diet, trade, and cultural practices of the mound builders. Despite advances in research, much about the Amelia Island shell mounds remains unresolved. The exact reasons for their construction, the cultural meanings they held, and the full extent of the sites are still topics of active investigation. Environmental factors, such as rising sea levels and coastal erosion, pose challenges to preserving and studying these ancient structures. Moreover, the shell mounds are a testament to the ingenuity and adaptability of Florida's earliest inhabitants. By utilizing abundant natural resources and creating lasting monuments, these communities shape the landscape in ways that continue to intrigue modern observers. In conclusion, the shell mounds of Amelia Island stand as enduring symbols of prehistoric Native American life, embodying both the practical and spiritual dimensions of their society. While questions about their construction and purpose remain unanswered, the mounds offer invaluable connections to Florida's ancient history. Ongoing research and preservation efforts are essential to unlocking the secrets of these remarkable structures, ensuring that the legacy of the mound builders continues to inform and inspire. The Ocmulgee Stone, an enigmatic artifact of Florida's ancient past. Among the many mysterious relics scattered throughout Florida's archaeological landscape, the Ocmulgee Stone near the Apalachicola area stands out as a particularly intriguing artifact. This unusual carved stone, inscribed with a series of symbols and designs, has puzzled researchers since its discovery. Its origins and meaning remain undeciphered, making it a compelling piece of Florida's ancient heritage and a symbol of the enduring mysteries surrounding the indigenous cultures that once thrived in the region. The Ocmulgee Stone was found in the Apalachicola vicinity, a region rich in Native American history. Although not as widely known as some other archaeological finds, the stone's intricate carvings suggest that it held significant importance to the people who created it. The symbols etched onto its surface do not match any known writing systems from the indigenous cultures historically documented in Florida, which has led to much speculation about its purpose and origin. One prevailing theory is that the Ocmulgee Stone served a ceremonial or religious function. The symbols may represent spiritual beliefs, cosmological concepts, or clan insignias. Alternatively, the carvings could have been part of an early form of communication or record-keeping, preserving knowledge about important events, genealogies, or territorial boundaries. Without a clear key to the symbols, however, these hypotheses remain speculative. Another layer of mystery involves the stone's cultural context. The Apalachicola area was inhabited by various Native American groups over thousands of years, including ancestors of the Muscogee, Creek, and other southeastern tribes. It is unclear which specific group created the stone, or if it might have been influenced by interactions with other cultures through trade or migration. The lack of direct historical records or oral traditions referencing the stone adds to the difficulty of situating it within a definitive cultural framework. Archaeologists and linguists have compared the carvings on the Ocmulgee Stone to symbols from other ancient cultures, both in North America and beyond, seeking parallels that might unlock its meaning. Despite these efforts, no consensus has emerged. Some researchers suggest the symbols may be purely decorative or symbolic, not meant to convey a specific language, while others hold out hope that future discoveries or advances in decipherment techniques could reveal its secrets. The Ocmulgee Stone exemplifies the broader challenge of interpreting the material culture left behind by prehistoric peoples in Florida and the southeastern United States. Many artifacts bear symbols and markings whose meanings have been lost due to the passage of time, disruption of indigenous cultures by European colonization, and the limited survival of written or oral histories. Despite its enigmatic nature, the Ocmulgee Stone is invaluable as a tangible connection to Florida's ancient past. It invites curiosity, reflection, and further study, reminding us of the complexity and diversity of the indigenous peoples who shaped the region's history long before modern records. Preserving such artifacts and continuing scholarly investigation are vital to honoring this heritage and expanding our understanding of early Native American civilizations. In conclusion, the Ocmulgee Stone remains an undeciphered mystery embedded in Florida's archaeological record. Its carved symbols continue to elude definitive interpretation, representing both the lost knowledge and the enduring cultural richness of the region's prehistoric inhabitants. As research progresses, the hope persists that this enigmatic stone will one day reveal its story, shedding new light on the ancient peoples of Apalachicola and their place in Florida's historical tapestry. The mystery of the Weeden Island culture artifacts, symbolism and rituals in ancient Florida. Scattered across northern Florida and parts of the southeastern United States are remarkable archaeological finds attributed to the Weeden Island culture, a prehistoric Native American society that thrived from approximately 200 CE to 900 CE. Among their most intriguing legacies are the intricately crafted pottery and artifacts, adorned with mysterious symbolic designs that continue to puzzle researchers. These artifacts, coupled with limited understanding of their cultural rituals, represent one of Florida's enduring ancient mysteries, offering valuable insights yet posing complex questions about the people who created them. The Weeden Island culture is primarily known through its distinctive ceramics, which stand out for their elaborate decorations, including geometric patterns, animal motifs, and symbolic imagery. These pottery pieces were not merely utilitarian vessels, but also objects of spiritual or ceremonial significance. The complexity and craftsmanship suggest a highly developed artistic tradition, indicating that symbolism and meaning were deeply embedded in Weeden Island culture. One of the greatest challenges in studying Weeden Island artifacts lies in interpreting their symbolic designs. Unlike some other Native American iconographies with known meanings, the motifs on Weeden Island pottery remain largely undeciphered. Scholars have proposed various interpretations, including connections to cosmology, ancestral worship, or social hierarchy, but no consensus exists. The symbols may have represented clan affiliations, spiritual beliefs, or elements of mythologies that have been lost over time. In addition to pottery, the Weeden Island culture left behind a range of ceremonial artifacts, such as effigy pipes, shell ornaments, and stone tools, often found in burial mounds. These mounds themselves are significant archaeological sites that provide context for understanding Weeden Island rituals. The careful placement of grave goods and the construction of mounds suggest complex funerary practices, emphasizing the culture's reverence for ancestors and possibly beliefs in an afterlife. Despite these findings, the full extent of Weeden Island religious and social rituals remains a mystery. The absence of written records and the passage of time have obscured many aspects of their spiritual life. Archaeologists continue to rely on material evidence and comparisons with related cultures to reconstruct possible ceremonial practices. Some evidence points to seasonal rituals tied to agriculture and the natural world, while others hint at initiation ceremonies or rites of passage. The geographic spread of Weeden Island artifacts, from northern Florida into neighboring states, reveals a broad cultural influence and suggests that the people who produced these artifacts participated in extensive trade networks and cultural exchanges. This interaction may have facilitated the spread of symbolic motifs and ritual ideas, further complicating the task of understanding their original meanings. The mystery surrounding the Weeden Island culture artifacts exemplifies the broader challenges in studying prehistoric societies that left no written language. The symbolic language etched into their pottery and ritual objects is a form of communication from the past, waiting to be interpreted. Unlocking these symbols holds the promise of revealing not only artistic expression, but also deep insights into the worldview, beliefs, and social structures of a long-lost people. In conclusion, the artifacts of the Weeden Island culture represent a fascinating and enigmatic chapter in Florida's ancient history. Their mysterious symbolic designs and unknown rituals continue to captivate archaeologists and historians, reminding us of the complexity and richness of prehistoric Native American societies. Ongoing research and archaeological discoveries offer hope that, with time, we may unravel more of the secrets held within these ancient creations, deepening our appreciation for Florida's indigenous heritage.